In 1958, an 11-year-old boy knew how to read an old compass, patch a leaking pair of work boots with tar, and sharpen a hoe before the sun came up. His father never handed him a manual or sent him a video link. He taught him behind the barn door, beneath the shade of an old oak tree, or on a worn wooden bench. Just a calm voice and a pair of weathered, calloused hands. Today, many grown men would have no idea what to do if an axe handle snapped or their air compressor suddenly stopped working. Number 12 on this list was once so common that nearly every boy growing up in rural America could do it with his eyes closed. And number 2, that single skill helped families preserve their dignity through the hardest times, before it quietly disappeared within a single generation. These weren't just household chores. They were a silent language between father and son, shaped through repetition, patience, and respect. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, because some of these timeless skills are simply too valuable to let disappear. Let's start with number 30.
Number 30. Gapping a spark plug. Sensory cue. The smell of stale gasoline, the faint metallic click of a feeler gauge. To a father in the 1950s, an engine that ran rough was a sign that something had been neglected. He would sit beside his son on the concrete floor of the garage, pull out a feeler gauge, and point to the hair-thin gap between the spark plug's electrodes. He taught him that a difference of just a few thousandths of an inch could determine whether the family car started on a freezing winter morning or left them stranded by the side of the road. A spark plug cost only a quarter, but the precision required to set it correctly was priceless. Today, engines are hidden beneath sealed plastic covers, and that quiet ritual of careful adjustment has been replaced by computerized diagnostic scanners. Number 29. Glazing a window pane. When a baseball shattered the back window, a father didn't call a repairman. Instead, he took his son to the local hardware store, bought a replacement pane for just a few cents. At the end of a long workday, a father never left an extension cord tangled on the ground like a lifeless snake. Instead, he taught his son how to coil it properly, looping it over his elbow and palm to create neat, even coils that would unravel smoothly without a single knot. He also showed him how to replace a worn electrical plug with nothing more than a screwdriver and a roll of black electrical tape. These small acts of discipline weren't just about keeping the workshop tidy. They were the habits that allowed good tools to last for decades. Number 27. Sharpening a drill bit. A dull drill bit doesn't just slow the job down, it burns the wood and wears out the hands using it. Standing beside a bench grinder, a father guided his son's hands, teaching him to maintain the precise 59-degree cutting angle as the steel met the spinning grinding wheel. The shower of sparks became its own lesson. The boy learned to feel the warmth. Number 26. Sweating copper pipe. When a pipe leaked in the basement, the smell of soldering flux and the blue flame of a propane torch signaled that Dad was already at work. He showed his son how to polish the copper pipe with emery cloth until it gleamed, brush on a thin coat of flux, and let the heat draw molten solder into the joint through capillary action. It looked almost like magic, but it was really the reward for patience and precision. More importantly, it gave a young boy the confidence that he could master two of the most powerful forces inside a home, water and fire. Cluster 2. Nature, survival, and the land. Number 25. Tanning a hide. For many families across the American West, no part of a harvested animal went to waste. Behind the garage or beside the barn, a father taught his son how to scrape every trace of fat and tissue from a deerskin using a dull scraping blade before rubbing it with a mixture of salt and alum to preserve it. The lesson was messy, carried the unmistakable smell of raw hide, and demanded patience and physical endurance. But when that same hide became a warm blanket or a sturdy piece of leather during the cold winter.
Number 24. Knowing firewood by the heat it produces. A father never cut down a tree for firewood without knowing exactly what it could offer. As they walked through the woods together, he would point to the bark and teach his son the difference between each species. Oak burned hot and steady, keeping the house warm through the longest winter nights. Pine caught fire quickly, making it perfect for starting a morning blaze. Birch delivered dependable heat, even when the wood was slightly damp. It was an instinctive understanding of the natural world, passed down without textbooks or classrooms. Long before taking from the land, a boy first learned how to read it. Number 23. Navigating with a compass and topographic maps. Long before GPS devices spoke turn-by-turn directions, a father unfolded a topographic map across a folding camp table and introduced his son to the quiet certainty of a compass. He explained magnetic declination, demonstrated how to align the compass with the map's contour lines, and showed him how every ridge, valley, and stream revealed the landscape before they ever took another step. Then he shared one rule the boy would never forget. A compass never lies. Your instincts sometimes do. That lesson offered more than a way to find the right trail. It taught calmness in uncertainty, confidence in difficult moments, and the ability to trust knowledge over panic when the wilderness closed in.
Number 22. Setting a simple snare trap. When hunting supplies began to run low, a father taught his son how to set a simple wire snare along a well-traveled rabbit trail. The lesson was never about cruelty, it was about observation. The boy learned to read fresh tracks pressed into the mud, notice a broken twig that marked an animal's path, and mask the scent of human hands with crushed pine needles. It was the quiet art of becoming part of the landscape rather than merely passing through it. Success came not from force, but from patience, respect, and understanding the rhythms of the natural world. Number 21. Testing the safety of lake ice. In winter, a frozen lake could be both a playground and a deadly trap. A father carried an ice chisel or ice axe, striking the surface as they walked and teaching his son how to judge the ice by its color. Deep, clear blue ice meant it was strong and dependable. White, cloudy ice, filled with air pockets, could give way without warning. He also insisted his son wear a pair of ice picks around his neck whenever they ventured onto the lake, tools that could help him pull.
Number 20. Pruning fruit trees. At the end of winter, a father carries a small pruning saw into the apple orchard. He teaches his son how to cut away crossing branches and dead limbs so that sunlight can reach the center of the tree when spring arrives. This simple lesson carries a profound philosophy of life. Sometimes you have to cut back something that is growing today so you can harvest sweeter fruit in the future. Number 19. Building a split rail fence. Out on the prairie, nails were a costly luxury. A father teaches his son how to split logs into sturdy fence rails and arrange them in the classic zigzag pattern of a split rail fence. Without nails or concrete foundations, the fence stands strong against the wind through careful craftsmanship and balance. Every stretch of fence is proof that human ingenuity can transform the gifts of nature into lasting protection.
As autumn draws to a close, a father and his son carefully stack potatoes in wooden crates filled with damp sand and hang onions from the ceiling of the root cellar. The father teaches him how to maintain the right level of humidity and monitor air circulation so the food will stay fresh until spring. It is a lesson in long-term planning and the importance of preparing today to ensure survival through the hardships of tomorrow. Number 17. Sharpening a hoe and sickle with a hand file. A dull hoe can wear out a person's back long before the work is done. Resting beneath the shade of a tree at midday, a father takes out a flat hand file and carefully sharpens the edge of a hoe at the proper angle. The steady scrape.
Every morning at 5 o'clock, the chilly air of the barn greets a father and his son.
Beside the warmth of the cow's body, the father teaches the proper milking rhythm, gently pinching the top of the teat with his thumb and forefinger before squeezing downward until fresh milk rings softly against the bottom of a galvanized bucket. It is a child's first direct connection to the source of nourishment, shattering the illusion that food simply appears on grocery store shelves. Cluster 4. Technical skills and machinery. Number 15. Adjusting a lawnmower carburetor. Before modern engines were equipped with electronic fuel injection, the carburetor was the heart of every small engine. A father teaches his son to listen carefully to the sound of the engine, recognizing whether it is running too rich or too lean. Using a small flathead screwdriver, the boy carefully adjusts the carburetor screw until the engine settles into a smooth, steady roar once again. It is a lesson in understanding that machines have a language of their own, one that rewards patience, careful observation, and skilled hands.
Number 14. Safely towing a stuck vehicle. When a neighbor's truck becomes stuck in deep mud, a father brings out a heavy steel tow chain. He teaches his son how to identify the vehicle's proper recovery points on the chassis and how to apply steady, controlled force without snapping the chain or damaging the bumper. It is a lesson in staying calm under pressure and embracing the responsibility of helping neighbors when they are in need. Number 13. Installing snow chains. In the middle of a fierce snowstorm, with icy winds cutting through every layer of clothing, a father kneels in the wet snow to install tire chains on the drive wheels, barehanded so he can better feel each hook and fastener. He teaches his son how to tighten the tensioner securely so the chains stay firmly in place as the wheels turn. The lesson goes beyond driving in winter. It teaches mental toughness, showing that some of life's most important tasks must be completed even in the...
Number 12. Repairing leaking rubber boots with a patch kit. In a time when nothing was thrown away without a fight, a leaking pair of rubber boots meant spending the day working with wet, freezing feet. A father would take out a cold patch repair kit, roughen the torn rubber with sandpaper, apply adhesive, and press a rubber patch firmly into place with a small clamp. The lesson was simple yet timeless. Value what you own, repair it whenever you can, and never replace something that still has life left in it. Number 11. Caring for leather harnesses and tack. For families who worked with horses or livestock, leather equipment was essential to everyday life. A father teaches his son to clean stiff leather with saddle soap before conditioning it with neat's foot oil until it becomes soft and flexible again. Well-maintained harnesses prevent painful rubbing on an animal's back and are far less likely to break under heavy loads. It is a lesson in respecting the smallest details, because careful maintenance is often what keeps both people and animals safe. Cluster 5. Character, values, and life lessons. Top 10. Number 10. Shooting a rifle with controlled breathing. This lesson was never just about hitting a target. It was about mastering yourself. A father teaches his son to pause his breathing between heartbeats, squeeze the trigger during the final gentle exhale, and absorb the rifle's recoil without flinching or blinking. Every movement is deliberate, patient, and controlled. The lesson is one of composure, discipline, and complete command over both body and mind, where self-control is valued far more. Number 8. Standing tall and addressing elders with sir or ma'am. Before stepping into a neighbor's home or the local general store, a father gently caps his son's shoulder and offers one last reminder. Take off your hat, look them in the eye, and speak clearly. These simple acts of courtesy are not signs of submission. They are expressions of respect, confidence, and good character. The boy learns that genuine politeness opens more doors than pride ever could. Number 7. Managing cash with the envelope budgeting system. At the end of the week,
After bringing home his paycheck in a paper envelope, a father sits down with his son at the kitchen table. He carefully divides the cash into smaller envelopes labeled for rent, groceries, savings, and a little set aside for giving. As the boy watches the physical money being allocated with purpose, he learns that every dollar has a job. It is a lesson that true financial freedom begins with discipline, thoughtful planning, and living within your means, not with a credit card.
Number 6. Lifting heavy loads without injuring your back. Standing beside the bed of a pickup truck, a father demonstrates the proper way to lift a heavy sack of grain. He squats down, bends his knees, keeps the load close to his chest, and drives upward with the strength of his legs instead of straining his back. This simple lesson in body mechanics is more than good technique. It is an investment in a lifetime of hard work, helping a man stay strong and avoid the kind of back injuries that can end a career or limit his independence. Number 5. Staying calm and taking charge during an emergency. When a violent storm tears the roof from the barn or a main water pipe bursts in the middle of the night, a father doesn't panic. He grabs a flashlight, gives his son short, clear instructions, and immediately gets to work. Watching him, the boy learns one of life's greatest lessons. In a crisis, panic is the greatest enemy, while courage is the decision to keep acting wisely even when fear is present. Number 4. Writing a handwritten thank you letter. After receiving a gift or a helping hand from someone, a father places a sheet of paper and a pen in front of his child. He teaches the boy how to write sincere words of gratitude, showing appreciation for another person's kindness and time before mailing the letter through the post. In a world driven by instant messages, a handwritten note becomes something far more meaningful. It is a lasting reminder that genuine relationships deserve more than convenience. The climax. Top 3. Number 3. The principle of finish what you start. Visual, the camera slowly pans across a half-finished woodworking project before settling on a father placing his hand on his son's shoulder. More than any practical skill, this is a mindset forged in resilience. When building a log cabin or repairing a fence becomes exhausting under the blazing summer sun, a father doesn't let his son walk away to find something easier. Instead, he sits beside him and quietly says, "We don't leave a job half done."
Number 2. Keeping a household running through hard times. Resourcefulness. When money grows scarce and steady work is hard to find, a father doesn't complain in front of his family. Instead, he shows them how to make the most of what they already have, turning worn-out items into useful tools, preparing meals from the garden, and preserving the family's dignity without depending on handouts. He teaches that a man's wealth is not measured by everything he can afford to buy, but by how little he depends on others to provide for his family's needs. This ability to adapt and make the best of difficult circumstances becomes a family's last line of defense when life grows uncertain. Number 1. Becoming a steady presence without saying much. The greatest lesson a father can pass on can never be written in a book or measured by money. It is the quiet art of becoming a dependable foundation for the people who count on you. A father teaches his son how to be present when his family needs him, not through impressive speeches or empty promises, but through consistent actions, quiet strength, and shoulders willing to carry life's burdens. He shows that true manhood is not defined by dominance or physical power, but by becoming a place of safety, stability, and comfort for one's wife, children, and community. From adjusting spark plug gaps to becoming a steady foundation for a family, these 30 disappearing skills tell one remarkable story. A story from a time when self-reliance, strong character, and personal responsibility were passed down through example in garages, backyards, workshops, barns, and around the kitchen table. Which of these skills did your father or grandfather teach you? And which ones will you learn and pass on to your own children and grandchildren
before they disappear forever. Share your stories and memories in the comments below, because this isn't just a list of forgotten skills. It is one generation quietly saying to the next, I've